Hey, hi, hello. I have little something to say here. I love the drop campaigns. Okay, yep, I get it. Please just hold off on all your beatings till the end of the video. You can dislike it then, but I do think the drop campaigns are a general good, implemented properly. They're unique, they're unprecedented. The Twitch integration on scene here is just fantastic. Nobody else is really doing anything like this, and it's from a small company. On paper, it's really easy to see how awesome they are. They encourage viewer interaction because if you're clicking on chests, you're at least nominally watching the stream, so some people that are trying to min-max that are actually there. They boost view numbers across all of Eternal as a whole on Twitch, thus functioning as a cheap advertisement, not just for big streamers, but also for the game itself as a whole. They reward big streamers by giving them more influence, right? And giving them access to more drop campaigns and other rewards that way. But it balances itself out by limiting those streamers to a certain number of campaigns a month, and that allow small streamers to then snipe specific days so that they can kind of introduce themselves into the community in a way that they were unable to before. That's really, really cool, right? None of that matters. The drop system as is broken. Even if everything that I said is correct and you accept all of those things, and I'm sure a lot of you don't, it doesn't matter. I can be right about all of what I just said all day, every day, and it won't make any difference as to what's happening in Eternal right now. Why? Well, first, some background. The drops were not released immediately, so they gave everyone blue balls for months on end before introducing the actual store at which to use them. So that gave everyone an inflated pool of points, from all the semi-consistent streamers to even viewers that had a lot of time on their hands min-maxing a bunch of the ways to view different streams. It let everybody throw campaigns around all over the place and threw the entire system into chaos. Dozens of campaigns just completing against each other off the bat, forcing huge shifts in how people viewed Twitch overnight. To top that off, it came with killing the overly generous drop system that had been previously implemented in October, and that had been meant to be temporary. This is kind of key. That first system was always meant to be temporary. It was something Direwolf didn't feel was sustainable in the long term, and I can see why. It was a lot of free stuff in a game that's already known for being very cheap. On top of that, it encouraged a lot of really negative behavior. We had massively inflated view numbers, but a lot of it was really, really idle people because you could just sit there and grind influence all day forever. So people would just essentially become living, breathing view bots. And the big problem here, though, is the failure of it going all the way until they switched it, which made it feel like they were yanking it away and replacing it with something that was perceived to have a lot less value. That perception is the key. Is it less value? I mean, maybe, probably. It kind of doesn't matter. What matters is how people feel about it. It's the consumer confidence. The system is failing in many ways because it is perceived to be failing. There are arguments that it's hurting big streamers like myself by having our numbers go to smaller streamers that are running campaigns. But the smaller streamers aren't happy either, because they're saying that the boost in viewers is mostly inflated, non-interactive viewers, because the drop system always encouraged that, and making their numbers really volatile. Viewers wanting to min-max that system for perceived value were missing out on a lot of stuff because they're annoyed by having to hop from stream to stream, not able to idle in those streams anymore like we talked about, being like living, breathing view bots, which arguably this system was trying to curb. So you now have unhappy big streamers feeling like they're losing out to small streamers feeling like their boosted numbers are mostly uninterested idlers and the system just helps the rich get richer, and viewers that have to drastically rework the way that they min-max the system to get their free drop value. The effect of all of this is that big full-time streamers are moving to tangentially related games like Magic Arena or Hearthstone or Slay the Spire or whatever else they like. Viewers that were trying to min-max value have just given up and stopped bothering, or they've become even more like the idle viewbots that they're trying to stop. And small streamers with the more volatile numbers are afraid of getting sniped by a bigger campaign, or they're being depressed because of the fact that they'll go one day of having 200 some viewers on a big drop campaign to then going back to their more normal numbers of like 20 to 30 viewers, instead of viewing it as a one-time cool introduction that can help them get started. It feels like, as a streamer like that, that you want to have those numbers all the time. Why wouldn't you? Of course you do. And so losing that feels real bad when you have to go back to just doing normal streaming. So despite the fact that I like a lot of the features of this new system on paper, and there are things that I don't like too, it has to change. The confidence in the system is the problem. It's almost at zero, and so its effectiveness is entirely destroyed, regardless of any positives it might have. It's not being used as intended, and the toxic atmosphere that it's causing is doing way more damage every day. Thanks to everybody who watched this video, and of course to my wonderful sponsor, inkgaming.com, and all the patrons and subs on Twitch who make this possible. Since this is the first video that I'm really doing like a big end thing like this, where I'm showing off all of the subs and patrons, I'm not listing any of the patrons themselves in case they have their real names and don't want them to be read off on air like this. But hey, if you would like your name to be read, just let me know on Patreon, and you can always check it out at the end of the video and help me make more videos like this. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I do super appreciate it, and I will be back again with more Eternal next week.